Okay, thank you. Welcome, everyone, and good evening for all of you who are following us in our weekly event with Archi Friday. Every Friday, we meet in the community to present a new topic covering 100% event dedicated to real world data, cloud, and solution architecture. And I'm very happy today to welcome all of you for this new session and to present, as usual, a very, let's say, important topic, which is always related to data management and master data management. Of course, I will let our speaker, Sweeta, to present all the details related to this topic. And I wanted first to thank her for being part of this event and for accepting the invitation, and also for all the efforts she made to be with us, and for sharing her knowledge and this new topic. And as usual for this event, I will also be with Rodrigue, who is, of course, as you know, one of the creators of the Archie Fridays sessions. Hello, Rodrigue. Can you hear me? Yeah, you are muted.
Yeah, do you hear me?
Yes. So thank you very much, Rodrigue, for being with us for this session. I know you have some emergencies to deal with your clients, and once again, thank you very much for finding the time to join us in this session. I will give the mic to Sweta. So without wasting more time, so to present the topic and to get to know her better with more details. Sweta, thank you very much for joining and welcome to Archie Fridays.
Thank you, Sime, and thank you, Rodrigo, for this opportunity. And I'm glad to be part of here.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you. So let me first say good morning to everyone, whoever are on this meeting and on this session. And my name is Sweta Taluri, and I'm delighted to be part of this session. And we will walk through or explore how the retail organizations can move from the fragmented data to the treating the data in more strategic way. So yeah, before we deep dive into the topic, so I wanted to give a background around what is or the retail industry. So yeah, retail industry is one of the most dynamic industries, I would say, because every one of us really touches, or every one of us deals with it every day. Like in day to day, we be it purchasing clothes online, or going for the groceries, or comparing the electronic prices, or whatever. Like we deal with it every day. So it is one of the very widely used industries, and behind the scenes there are a lot of complexity, or it deals with incredible dozens of platforms like e-commerce or physical stores, mobile. Everything has its own set of data, and all this data needs to be dealt in a ways so that the industry can succeed or thrive forward. So, yeah, as today's topic says, like from data silos to strategic asset, retail transformation through master data management, though it seems technical, I'll ensure that we will be more practical, and we'll take some of the real time examples that most of the retailers faces, and yeah, we'll see what are the challenges they face and how can we overcome that data issues or data silos through master data management. Moving to our agenda, like yeah, these are the topics that we'll be covering as part of today's session. And what happens when data is siloed? It becomes fragmented, right? Yeah. and inconsistent, and it's very unreliable for the users. And that is the real challenge most of our retailers face today. And unreliable data is more inconvenience for the users, because it's a risk to both, not only to the customers as well as to the organization. When I say unreliable data, for example, the product description, if we are buying any product online and if the description isn't clear, or if the website description has discrepancies between what online or versus in store, so these kind of discrepancies will really make the customers lose their confidence on the product, and which is really it will impact the complete organization, because it will lose the customers, and end of the day it impacts the sales and everything. So without managing data properly, it's like running a marathon with one of the shoe missing. So, which means we will still make it up, but we'll be running slow, and it'll have its own like uncomfortable, and we'll try to fall. So, these are the similar risks we will have if the data is not managed properly. So, as part of the agenda, we will go through the data fragmentation challenge, where we'll look at why silos exist and how they form and the specific problems they create for retailers. And next, we'll go through the MDM as the solution. We'll explore master data management actually is, and how it really helps, and why it matters to the retail industries. And the implementation approach, where we'll discuss how to roll out MDM as a phased, practical way that balances quick wins with long term sustainability. And everything, and the success, because no transformation can be complete without measuring the success. So where we'll measure our ROIs, and what are our some of the real time real world insights, where lessons learned. I'll personally share what I really faced in some of the retail transformations I've worked with, and path forward, where we will end with a roadmap which we can take out from this session, and really use it for any retail organization. So these will be our topics to be covered today, and yeah, let's dive in. Coming to the retail, today it operates across multiple channels. It can be operated through e-com platforms, physical stores, and mobile apps and marketplaces, and many other ways. Retail is everywhere, and it can be operated through multiple channels, and each channel has its own way of running the systems, or its own way of rules. Like the retail store, the physical store has its own rules and its own way of selling, and e-commerce has its own way of monitoring the data or maintaining the data. So each of them have their own set of rules, and they manage the data. And if we are trying to combine all this data and make it work for one retail organization, it's going to create chaos. So each, as imagine, you are taking puzzle from each box and trying to club them together or make a puzzle out of it, then it's not going to help out much. That is the data silos that we are talking about, or most of the retail industries really face, which which any retailer have the one system for online orders and another for physical stores or a point of sale. So all this data is siloed, like within their systems. Like each of the systems, the data is managed separately, and each system doesn't talk to each other. And that is when the issues arise, like the discrepancies of data comes in, and where one channel says the product is in stock, and other channel says the product is out of stock, and we'll find duplicate customer records, and where the same person might appear multiple times, or different name, or same address, or something like that. So all this is called as data silos. And how do we really manage that? So this fragmentation definitely is a nightmare to the retail industries, and teams waste hours of reconciling this data manually, and yeah, they spend hours of times working on the spreadsheets, or double checking their records, or what is missing information. And yeah, this whole work really encounters issues with the decision making. End of the day, for the leaders, the decision making would be challenged because it slows down their decision making, because the numbers that see today are not trusted because of the each system maintaining their own records of data, and they don't have clear cut reliable numbers where leadership could actually make some decisions over, and which eventually leads to the following business impact, where inconsistent product catalogs across the channels, which means customers see different descriptions of the images, and prices vary depending whether you're shopping online versus in store. And also we face fragmented customer profiles, like instead of one unified per customer record, we see multiple records with the same customer details, with uh, for example, Jane Smith or J Smith, or like that, those kind of fragmented customer profiles we'll be seeing. And complex supplier relationship, where duplicate records of the suppliers, because suppliers play a major role in the retail industry as well. And if they are not maintained well, the relationship with the suppliers might be fragile and they may break. And also price inconsistencies, which is one of the real big one for the retail industry, where we do not want to have any issues with the pricing, because if we see any discrepancies between, or the variations between the prices, customers really do not like, and we lose the confidence of the customers end of the day. And also insufficient operations, like where we have to ensure or enforce employees to work for long hours, and instead of they working on the innovation and other tracks. And also end of the day, it impacts the decision making for the leadership. So these are the some of the definitely some of the business impacts when data isn't managed clearly, or it's not properly managed in a retail industry. These would be definitely business impact challenges that they would be facing upon. I'll give a quick story that which I had in one of the retailer that I work with, where we discovered the online store showed one of the popular product is on in stock, and it is ready for pickup. When the customer drove, like trying to buy, or he wants to buy that, and he drove all the way to the store, and he found out that the product is no longer available and it's out of stock, and which is really depressing, or it's not a good way of communicating to the customer, because of this data fragmentation, or not the both the systems not talking to each other, and end of the day the customer gets impacted. So this is where the data management comes into picture, and which where it plays a critical role for organizing all this data in the retail industry. And without addressing these issues, and the whole organization could be at risk, where they'll lose the revenue, and they'll have the damaged trust. And yeah, that is our challenge, why a master data management is required in a retail industry especially. Now let's talk about what happens if the organizations don't act. It's easy to think we'll deal with data silos later, but postponing the action comes with a hidden cost. Like the poor data quality has a direct impact on revenue, efficiency, and credibility. So it has the revenue impact, which studies show that retailers lose millions each year because of inaccurate or inconsistent data. Like imagine a shopper purchasing an item and who sees online description and in store has a different description. Then they are like, it confuses the customer, and eventually they lose the trust in the customer, and we lose the customer there, which really yeah, any retailer doesn't want to have that. And next, operational inefficiencies, where we can also see that teams wait hours every week with this conflicting data, and where they have to work on this manually and spend hours together to clear this data up, or to make sure any duplicates are removed, or yeah, double check on the records and what is the missing information. So that definitely impacts the complete operations of the complete employees, and it end of the day, it's like an operational inefficiency of the organization. And also it rises cost, because inefficiency compounds the cost, rising in cost, which a duplicate supplier records leads to errors in the procurement, and pricing mismatches lead to lost sales, and inventory inaccuracies lead to overstocks or stockouts. Each of these errors may seem small, but together they'll create a snowball effect, and which eats into the margins. So yeah, definitely these needs to be addressed. And not only these, but it'll also have some technical debts, like the longer you wait, the harder the managing the data becomes, because systems become more tangled up with this kind of data in each system, and the transformation becomes more complex, or it becomes more expensive too, which have been managed easily when in the initial phases, but over the period it could yeah, it could create more challenge. Yeah, just like an leak in your roof, right? Like at first it's just a drip, and you think I'll fix it later, but over time, if you don't fix it, that damage spreads, and the ceiling weakens, and yeah, where the walls strain, eventually the entire structure gets collapsed. So fixing it in the initial phases, it costs 10 times more feasible or more inexpensive compared to, like, let me fix it later, or let me look into the data management at later point of time. So yeah, that would make sure, like, this I would say this slide would be the turning point in our journey, because we have seen the challenge, like what are the real challenges that a retailer would face with the data fragmentation, and we now know, like, what is the cost of not acting or inactioning on without maintaining a master data management. And we will explore, like, how master data management can really fix this problem, and how it'll be the foundation for transforming this data silos into the strategic assets. And as this slide says, let me just give a brief about what is a master data management. MDM is about creating a single trusted source of truth for your organization, and where which deals with most critical data. Like this is like a foundation to your retail house. Like without it, everything else, like analytics or customer experience or supply chain, everything is not stable. It's like shaky, where the foundation is weak, and the structure would wobble. So MDM is one of the pillar, or one of the base foundation for any retail organization to stand up straight on it. So what does the MDM do? uh, It defines and it manages and ensures the consistency, accuracy, and it also makes sure the accountability of the data assets. These assets include, like, it could be products, customers, suppliers, and pricing. All these are managed through master data management. By centralizing this whole thing in one place and governing this information, MDM can eliminate any duplication or reduces error and creates a unified view of these records across the systems and the departments. MDM is not just like, or it's not like a database. It's a framework where it's a discipline. It's a way of thinking about how data as an asset rather than liability. So strategically, MDM provides the architectural framework where managing the core business entities, and it ensures data consistency, quality, governance across the entire retail ecosystem. So these are the, let me break down into the key points where centralization, standardization, and governance and integration. These are the four key elements that will, where we can break down the complete MDM into, where MDM consolidates data from multiple system, which is the centralization, and uh, standardization is it enforce using the rules and formats and data looks and how it behaves consistently, which is the standardization. And governance is like defining the roles and responsibilities and workflows, like how, and it really helps the company to govern the data. And end of the day, integration. So if the systems do not talk to each other, then there is no point of having the master data management. So all the data needs to be between the systems, needs to be integrated, and especially with the legacy systems that most of the retailers would have. And talking to the legacy system or integrating with the legacy systems is does play a key role in this whole master data management re-architecting. Moving on to the next slide, which, yeah, as we talk about the master data management, and as we understand the master data management, now let's break it down into the four main domains that most of the retailers would have. Like each one of these domains have a specific pain point, and together um, they they experience different issues in each of these domains. So the first one being the product information management, where customer browsing through online, and yeah, product information or the product description isn't in sync between the systems, then it's a pain point to the customer, right? So product information management is one of the major domain for retail industry, because everything is product to the retailers, and how you present the product to the end customer matters a lot in the retail industry, like the descriptions, specifications, pricing, images, and every channel or every other channel tries to pull this information from a trusted source, and that this reduces the errors and speeds up the launches and builds confidence in the customer. And next is customer data integration, and um, think as a shopper who buys an online product and tries to return it in store, and call the customer care and say that, okay, I want to return this product, and the customer care says that, oh no, I could not find your profile, or I don't find your purchase order. It's really frustrating for the user to make sure, okay, I just did an online purchase and you don't find my customer record in the system, because the online or e-commerce, if it's not talking with the customer care, or if these two systems are not integrated well, the records are not maintained. So that is when the master data management comes into picture, where a unified customer profile would be created, and it would be communicated, be it the e-commerce, be it the customer service, or be it the in purchase on physical store. So all these will be integrated to one master data management area, where one customer profile is created, and that customer profile will be used as the master record, and all the systems will be pulling data from here. So that is where the customer data integration and plays a master data management plays a role for the customer domain. And supplier management. So suppliers are as critical as end customers, because many retailers have duplicate vendor records, like the same supplier listed three different ways, or that slows the procurement, creates confusion to the users, and it risks compliance issues. And supplier management consolidates all the supplier information, like the contacts, performance metrics, and compliance data, and relationship history with the supplier. Imagine if you are dealing with a supplier, and when you don't have a clear record in the past of his performance, or and if you're trying to onboard a new vendor, like the complaints is a risk. There is a compliance risk when you do not know much about the supplier. Whereas if you already maintain the supplier record and unified record in the system, and you know about the supplier, and you know what is your relationship with him in the past relationship, so that will give you more confidence if you wanted to go with the supplier, if that particular supplier or not. So which will drop the risk in the retail standpoint, because okay, if the vendor or supplier is having a bad track record, then you will really think about like what if you really want to deal with the supplier or not. So that will strengthen your, or if a supplier is very good, and you have a past record of all good metrics and all, then that will definitely strengthen your relationship with the supplier. So that is where the supplier domain can be managed well in the retail industry. And finally, pricing. We must have all seen mismatched pricing, like online versus in store, or promotions applied incorrectly, customer noticing these discrepancies immediately, which will damage the credibility of the brand. This will impact the returning customers, where they will be like, okay, this price inconsistency is causing major one of the major pain points for retail industries. So we should ensure that there is a centralized rules or promotions, where the discount structures across all channels are maintained, so that the pricing is managed well, and you get back the customers when they see the good pricing, or unified pricing information between online versus in store. So each of these domains have pain points, and making the products consistent, or customer feeling recognized, or suppliers being or relationship strengthening, and this all builds trust using the master data management tool. And it's MDM is not an abstract, I would say, like it's more practical, where you focus on solving the real problems in product, or customer, or supplier, or pricing, all these areas. And uh, when you solve all these four main domains, retailers can move from chaos to clarity, and they can also, from the data silos to a data strategical way, they can win the market. Let's move to the next slide, where we will talk about the benefits of implementing a master data management in the organization. Uh, as we discussed before, the main things that we can benefit from the master data management or operational excellence. Say, think about where some of the retail organizations team consistently work on the spreadsheets or fixing the missing products or the duplicate records. So this is all manual work, so they and employees do not or will not be motivated with this kind of work. So this will impact the onboarding the new products, because you need to do everything manual. Any new product comes online, or if you wanted to onboard a new product, which will definitely impact the end speed to market, I would say. With the product from the when it got originated to the market, it will be delayed because of this so much manual effort um, by the employees. And this should eventually make sure the product is launched faster. So that is where the MDM plays a role, where you can bring the product to the market, or speed to market can be more fastened up. And where you can that brings the operational excellence in the overall organization. And that will streamline a process, and that will encounter or smoother if any redundancy of data comes in. It will ensure it is all cleared up. And it helps in the overall efficiency or operational. It gives the operational excellence in the at the company level. And next would be the customer experience. And let's imagine like a shopper is shopping online, and then walking into store. And when the price details or the description details are mismatched, then it's not a good experience for any customer. So that will definitely impact yeah the end sales. So the personalized interactions become customer profiles are unified, and pricing details gets read pricing and loyalty programs gets impacted. All these gets impacted when there is no unified record mentioned, or when there is no unified data uh, maintained at the system level. So that is where the silos or data silos exist, and where with help of MDM, the representatives see more unified records and more clear customer records. And where we can sorry I think yeah, somehow this slide, okay. um Sorry, I was talking about the customer experience. And this will help or reduce the frustration in the customer when there is data silos or data discrepancies on online versus in store. And MDM definitely helps the customer experience. Overall customer experience would get more clear. And end of the day, it's the decision making for the leadership. So if they want to open any new store or new retail at or new branch in any new place, the decision making. So if you do not have a reliable data, or if the foundation of that decision making is data, and if you do not have good numbers or correct numbers, then the decision making gets hard. So which is the reason, one of the if you using the MDM, you can give the correct numbers where the leadership can trust and make correct decisions to move forward. So that is where the MDM helps in the decision making. And how can we implement master data management? So master data management isn't something you can switch overnight. It's not a that can be switched like a big bang project where everything changes at once, or in fact organizations that try to do that way will always fail, because MDM touches so many systems and process and peoples, and success can come with phasing approach. So let me walk through like the four phases that can help to build the MDM a smoother transformation. So the first is foundation, where you set the stage. It starts with assessment, like understanding your current state of data. Where are the silos, like where are the data silos we have in the system, and what inconsistencies exist, and which domain causes the most pain point. And from there you can develop a strategy, and you select the right tools, like you which tool you wanted to go with, and you prioritize on the domains. And most importantly, you need to establish the governance, because without governance MDM collapses. um, like this phase requires leadership, sponsorship as well, because without sponsorship this initiative can stall. All these need to be planned as part of a phase one, where this is like a foundation of your house. And if you won't this should be um, planned well in such a way that uh, the walls or roof doesn't get wobbled, or if the ground is not well, they cannot be built properly. So this phase is really critical, and you need to plan all these upfront when you wanted to move ahead. And phase two would be the pilot domain. Like you need to, as we discussed, like the four domains in our previous slide. One is product, and next is customer and supplier and pricing. Out of these four domains, you need to pick which domain is having the major pain point, or which domain you really wanted to conquer or start with, so that you can see the change in the organization. Often, I would suggest, from my personal experience, product information domain would be the pilot domain in most of the companies, because product data touches everything like marketing, sales, supply chain, customer experiences, and all. By focusing here, you demonstrate quick wins, like you validate the approach, you refine the process, and you show the organization how the MDM works. Like imagine a retailer struggling with inconsistent product description, and once you fix that, the online listings versus in store gets in sync, and you literally gain customer confidence back. And this is one of the power of the pilot domain, because where you can show the results very easily, or in a um, very friendly way, like where you can display in good marginal um, win. This will be a quick win, and that is the reason product information management would be the first, or the pilot domain most of the retailers would go with. And next is expansion. And on once the pilot is succeeded, you can expand it to the remaining domains, like you roll out this master data management to the additional domains like customer and supplier. And you can leverage the lessons that you have learned from your previous implementation, and you integrate with the existing systems, like you establish some monitoring. And this expansion builds momentum. It shows that MDM isn't just a theory, but it's a practical and scalable and valuable way, where you can build a reliable source. And phase four would be optimization. This is where you refine governance, like you automate workflows, you enhance analytics, you scale the architecture, and you focus on continuous improvement. So MDM isn't just static. Once you implement, it is done. It's not like that. You have to evolve, like you have to optimize and ensure the sustainability. Like once without sustainability, again, like once you implement and just leave it, no, that will not help the MDM. You need to optimize it and make sure it is continuous improvement is being done over the data, so that the as you go forward, it will keep giving you more benefits. MDM works best in phases because I I mean, you conquer one of the domain, and within that domain, you try to fix the problems, and then you spread it to the remaining domains. So it'll eventually be a bigger win for the retailer. And the phases that we discussed would be like the foundation, pilot, and expansion and optimization. These phases would, or this approach would balance the quick wins with long term objectives. And it definitely reduces the risk of going in one big bang. It will definitely be a risk. And this phased approach builds momentum, and it ensures the sustainability of the overall company. So, next we will walk through the legacy system integration. So, integrating is one of the key thing, because you just build the system or master data management, and you have all the golden records in the application or the single source of truth. But if you do not integrate with the systems, then there is no point of having the master data management. So end of the day, we need to ensure the integration is smoother, not only just with the e-commerce warehouse management, POS. We also need to ensure that the integration is smoother with the legacy systems. Most of the retailers have legacy systems in their organizations, and nobody wants to get rid of the legacy systems in one over the night. So we need to ensure the integration or plan the integration in such a way that um, there is no there should not be any fallbacks when you try to integrate with the legacy system. And legacy system comes with its own challenges because of its data format or update cycles and the connectivity. And yeah, its own, and the legacy comes with its own package, because they're all old systems and they have a different cycle of upgrades or different way of formatting, and integrating with that is a little challenging, because they might not support some of the more advanced integrations like APIs or batch processing or event driven. So all these need to be checked or prepared in such a way that the MDM should be able to conquer the legacy integration as well, along with the other integrations of the marketing and in store as well as e-commerce. Always keep in mind how do we integrate the legacy systems so that we have the smoother implementation. Okay, now coming to the MDM governance framework. So this is one of my favorite slide. Governance is backbone of master data management. Without governance, MDM collapses. So with MDM can thrive, but without it, it definitely collapses. So what do you mean when we talk about governance? What is really a governance? Governance is like establishing some set of rules or roles and responsibilities and processes that ensure data in managed or it is maintained consistently and responsibly across the organization. It's about accountability, it's about the ownership, it's about the trust that we can ensure on over the data. So why does this governance matter? Because we hear about governance a lot in most of the retail industry, but why does it matter? So MDM is like let me give this quick example where you think of a highway where you have all the best roads and bridges and vehicles and all these, but without the traffic rules, having all that will not really help. You need to have traffic rules, signals, and enforcement. Otherwise, the even though you have good roads and everything in well maintained highways, it will not help. So that is something. Similarly, even if you have MDM, it does not help. Like governance, like where you have set of rules, responsibilities, roles, all this would help in the smoother transition, or make sure the organization follows these roles and responsibilities, so that the system can run smoothly. And organizational structure is where every successful MDM program has some set of clear rules. Like there are data stewards who manage the day-to-day quality. There are governance councils who set the policies, and there are executives who sponsor and champions the initiatives. Without these roles, data becomes like everyone's job. So when we talk about everyone's job, it's more like nobody's job, right? Like no one takes that ownership. So that is why roles needs to be defined, and they should be assigned these jobs. Otherwise, no one can take the responsibility. So data stewards are one of the key players in the governance, like where they are like the frontline guardians. They ensure accuracy or completeness of the product, and the timeliness the product gets into the system. And they make sure the data is all clean, and before it gets onboarded, it has all the standards that are met or not. And along with organizational structure, we should also have certain policies and standards, because governance defines the rules of the road. But how should the product name be formatted? Like what are the naming standards? Like what are the policies that the company has, and certain limitations and certain validations that apply for the customer addresses? All these comes along with the policies and standards, which plays a role for the governance to ensure. And next comes the processes and workflows. Governance also defines like how data is created or modified or approved. When a new product is introduced, for example, who enters the data and who validates it and who approves it, a clear workflow needs to be defined, so that we can have more accurate and also have an accountability on it. Say, let's imagine a scenario where marketing team launches a new product, and for the campaign, but operation hasn't validated if the stock is available or not. Without the governance team, or without this checks, the campaign definitely would fail, because the product isn't available yet, because it is not yet validated. Whereas with the governance, the workflows will ensure the product is present and it is validated before the launch, and it checks all the required mandatory things, and it will ensure that, so that we can get a success in that campaign. But without predefined process or the workflows, we cannot achieve what is needed for the product that is getting onboarded. And finally, on the monitoring and metrics, so on this metrics shows some accuracy on the completeness or the timeliness of the product that went live into the e-commerce, or like the speed to market. Like how we can track that is where the monitoring and metrics comes into their place, where a retailer might track the percentage of the duplicate customer records before, and before the governance they might have duplicates about 15%, and after governance they can reduce it to the 2%. This is the metric, like it's the measurable quantifying one that will tell us like what is your impactfulness, or how much visibility you can show with the help of this MDM. So that is where metrics and measurement comes into picture, where you can quantify it. So governance is not just about the bureaucracy, but it's like a culture that the mindset where data quality matters. So in order to build a more quality data governance, establishing a governance is a must for an MDM project. So it's like even MDM is not like a IT project, I would say. It's like everyone's responsibility. Like we define roles and responsibilities, and yeah, it's like everyone has their own role to play in it, and governance is a backbone for this whole roles or responsibility that needs to be taken care. Okay, so every transformation needs metrics. Without measurement, it's impossible to provide value or sustain a momentum. When we talk about master data management or MDM, the return on investment comes in two forms. One is financial and other is operational. Let's explore both the details, like first, cost reduction or anything on the cost reduction on the duplicate records or mismatched product information or incorrect supplier information. And all these comes under the financial metrics, like how much cost savings you would have done by reducing the number of duplicates or decreasing the um, missing or the discrepancies in the description, and what is your revenue growth, and this all comes under the financial metrics, where any product launches happen. um, Whenever there is a product launch that happens, the faster and the sales can increase with cutting off the weeks of time, then that is where you can see the financial growth. Overall growth can be seen over there. And operational metrics, so the accuracy and consistency or timeliness are all measurable. So with MDM, organization can track these metrics and see improvement over time. Process efficiency is also another operational metric, where we can faster onboarding of suppliers, like quicker or product launches or smoother customer interactions. All these are measurable outcomes. Think about like how much time you saved when teams no longer reconcile on the spreadsheets manually, or removing the duplicates, or all these comes under the operational metrics. um, let's go to the change management. So far we have covered technical and strategic foundation of MDM, but technical excellence means nothing without adoption. You can have best MDM platform and the most advanced integration and the strongest governance framework, but if people don't use it, it fails. That's why change management is critical. So MDM isn't just a technology, but also at the organizational transformation. It changes how employees work, or how they enter data, or how teams collaborate, and how leaders make the decisions. Without addressing the human dimension, the resistance grows and adoption stalls, and eventually the momentum will slow down. So the first pillar of the change management would be the communication, because employees need to understand why MDM matters and how it benefits them and what are the changes they have to expect. Because nobody really likes a change in today's world. Like everyone is used to their own way of working style, and if they want have to change, they are really hesitant to take that. So communication plays a major role, like making sure that employees understand, or the data stewards, whoever gets into this MDM project, understand the necessity of having this project and how it will really benefit them, and how it can easier makes it easy their job. So that is where the communication plays a role. And coming to the training and support, so this is the second pillar for the change management, I would say, because the role based trainings will ensure that employees knows what exactly they need to do in MDM, so that they knows their responsibilities. And also some documentation or providing them the details would definitely help with the transition, or from the legacy or the uh, traditional way to the master data management. And next is initiatives and recognition, which is definitely this helps in most of the organization, where you come up with this rewards for the data stewardship, or celebrate the quality improvements that the team does and all. These will acknowledge and recognize, and it motivates the team. Eventually that will be a success factor for the change management, I would say, because end of the day it's the team that needs to, or that it's the people that needs to, or humans that needs to adapt to this new change. And these will be definitely the pillars to help them in the change management. And yeah, MDM success isn't a one time achievement. Like, it's not enough to fix the data at once and say it's done. No, that's not how MDM works. Like, it needs to be sustainable, like ongoing governance or continuous monitoring and cultural transformation. All these are necessary for a successful master data management project. Like building a quality culture where data quality is like moving beyond your reactive fixes, and more than reactive, or when you receive an error you try to fix it, which is like more reactive fix. But before even the error comes into picture, you proactively work on it and try to fix it. Those are the proactive or prevention methods which can be done, or which can be built using the master data management. And some here are some of the key sustainable elements that are like automated quality checks, like the real-time validation prevents poor data entry. Instead of fixing errors later, they can be blocked at upfront. And a clear accountability, where every domain has defined owners with measurable quality objectives. And that is where the accountability can ensure the responsibility of the whole team. And continuous monitoring, where dashboards can track quality metrics, and automated alerts flag degradation, or that can be resolved quickly. Like when you have some monitoring tools adapt or monitoring jobs that run, that will make sure they can be tracked in more quality way. And regular reviews, like the quarterly governance meetings, and ensure that what are the risks that a team has, and plan for the improvements. This will definitely help, or we should definitely focus on the regular reviews for the sustainability of the project. And finally, training programs, like ongoing education ensures teams understand the quality of the importance and the best practices. These are the some of the things that would definitely ensure the sustainability of the project, which is really needed. Not just like one time we did, and yeah, we cannot just say that we have accomplished the project. So let me just close with the um, this last slide, where we can elevate our retail as not just as master data management, but also a master growth in the whole organization. So so far we have discussed on the challenges, and we went through the challenges that any retail organizations would face, and we also discussed about the solutioning, like why master data management and what are the impacts if we do not act on the data, like if we just leave it like that and let me do it later. We did see the challenges, and we also talked about the solution, like the master data management being the solution, and how it can transform the retail industry, and the phased approaches that we talked about, and the methodologies or the governance being the backbone of the master data management. All these we have talked about it. Now let's talk about the growth. Master data management isn't just about fixing the problems, it's about elevating your retail organization to the next level. So if you are really looking for a change in your company, these would be the next steps I would suggest that you need to take it for your retail industry, and ensure that it 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 helps in making a change, definitely. And first you can assess your current state, like do you really have any data silos existing in the company, or any quality issues, or do you have any business impacts and all. And next, by securing the executive sponsorship, like you need to check with the leadership, like if you can have the sponsorship to have this, or you can elevate the master data management being one of the pillar, and how it transforms the industry. And you need to pick up on the domain, like yeah, in retail I would definitely suggest like product information management is the domain that we should go towards as a pilot domain, because it gives your it's a quick win, and where you can see a lot of difference, where you can project the numbers to the higher leadership as well. And build your governance framework. This is really important even before the project gets implemented. Building this framework really helps the defining the roles and responsibilities, who needs to act on what, and what are their job roles and responsibilities need to be defined. And yeah, these four definitely helps in next for the growth of the master data management. And it's not just the operational efficiency that we are looking for, but also a strategic growth. This will clean any ununified data into advanced analytics, and incorporating with any AI initiatives and personalization, and it empowers the leaders to make a confident decision making. And it definitely helps the customers, because where they can see the seamless or in less discrepancies in data. And yeah, this would really enhance the complete organization, as take it to the next level, where we can move from all this fragmented data into one unified structural way using the master data management. So yeah, that is where we can lean towards the growth, and that's the path forward for the retail industries, is what I would think. Yeah. And yeah, thank you everyone for
Yes, so thank you very much, Sweta, for all those for all this information, for this also very rich presentation. Very, very important to think about implementing this MDM into those retail activities, especially for the reasons you have mentioned when you started your presentation, especially the main difficulties we are having in terms of the inconsistent product information that we may have across different channels. That leads to fragmenting the customer profiles too, and also the pricing discrepancies that may cost the real margin for the company's activity. And of course, all this can be let's say, fixed and repaired if we don't put or define a good strategy in order to implement a single, let's say, source of truth, which will be the MDM, and how also we can apply governance. Yeah, very very important too, because as you mentioned, and this is very very good example you provided. We may have the roads, we may have the best roads in the world, the best cars in the world, but if we don't have the rules, so we can't take profit, and we can't let's say take advantage of the infrastructure if we don't have those rules, and if we don't implement correctly the governance, let's say, measures, or the appropriate measures. And the last point also, which is related to managing the change. So the human factor is also very important, because you can have the best solution with the best rules, but you don't have users who are, let's say, convinced about the adequacy, or let's say the advantage of using or implementing that solution within the company. So this is a mix of many factors that that may be part of correctly putting and implementing or adopting these type of solutions. We don't have many questions. In the chat, I don't know if you have access to the chat. I think 5 questions,
Yeah.
and I think that many of them are related to the MDM implementation in terms of architecture. Do you have access to the chat, Swira? Can you see them?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, I do have.
So maybe we may have between 5 and 10 minutes
Sure.
just to rapidly answer the questions before we close the session.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So let me go through. How do you architect the integration with external product content providers and supplier portals? Direct API into MDM staging via intermediate PIM or through an enterprise data lake that then feeds. So integration is something that can be I mean, like that can be done by in a different ways. Like we have batch processing, we have event processing, and API is one of the widely used integration methods. So these are the different ways where we can architect in different ways depending on the systems that we are planning to integrate. So some of the especially some of the legacy systems that I have observed is do not have API integrations because they're all old tools or the old systems where they do not have the latest updated integration methodologies. So batch is one of the widely used integration. These are the multiple ways that we can integrate the system and yeah, ensure the smoother transition from the legacy to the current application.
Yes, we also have. I don't know if you can see the other questions.
Yeah, I am
Yeah.
going to the next one, which is
There is one related to the number of attributes and how we can ensure the partitioning.
So it says, how do you structure? Okay. I see this one. Okay. For a large retailer with 500K to 2 million SKUs and deep attribute models, what partitioning and sharding strategy did you use in the MDM database to maintain performance? And did you separate static versus dynamic attributes into different physical models or tenants? So, yes, managing for the retailers, the large retailers would definitely have a huge amount of data. And we need to ensure, like when we are talking about the 1,000 plus attributes, we need to first identify like what or these attributes, and they need to be partitioned, like how do we want to segregate these, and the mapping needs to be done like using the uh, uh, data dictionaries where you can map between the attributes, and um, where okay, let me just so coming, yeah. So where for any large retailer, if he wanted to talk about the millions of SKUs and thousands of attributes, and as I said, like initial step would be the data dictionary where the mapping needs to be done, and we need to segregate the attributes in such a way that what are my constant or static attributes versus what are the dynamic attributes. And for the dynamic attributes, like there are different ways how you can implement that. Like you can come up with some business rules, or are they really, because dynamic attributes are really a hit to the performance on the master data management, because you wanted to calculate them dynamically on the fly. So it is always a good way to analyze these dynamic attributes upfront and ensure that how many dynamic attributes are we talking about, and do these really need to be implemented, or if they can be changed into a different way, like um, try to reduce the number of dynamic attributes is what I would say, because having multiple dynamic attributes would definitely hit the overall performance of the application, and that is the, yeah, way forward for any large retailer if we are talking about the multiple attributes, and to segregate between the static and dynamic, how do we go forward. But static is always, yeah, fine, but yeah, we need to ensure that we reduce number of dynamic attributes. Okay, let me go to the next
Yeah.
question.
The next one is,
How did
is in terms of the structure of the MDM solution.
yes, landing, staging, validation, golden phase. Which components were handled inside MDM platform versus external data pipeline? So, in the master data management, so the structure, how the structure, the logical and physical layering of MDM, like landing, staging, validation, enrichment, goal. So, how it structures is in a we master data management has two different layers. One is the front end where users can onboard the data, and one is the back end, which is like the actual storage, or where the actual data gets stored, like a database. And on the front end, mostly it's skewed to the users who can onboard the products, or who can do all these cleansing of data, like where you come up with these validation rules, and you come up with all these checkpoints and compliance related rules. So this is where the whole workflows or the golden record maintenance is all done in the front end or the physical layer. Whereas at the back end on the database, that is where now the more advanced master data management tools are going towards the um, cloud database like Azure, and they have AWS systems too that are supporting these. And otherwise, all the data gets stored here, and they're handled in the in memory of these databases, so that as soon as the user tries to search or work upon them, it tries to fetch that from the in memory, and it'll try to act or try to be more faster compared to the traditional or on-prem applications. And yeah, the next question is, what MDM architectural style did you ultimately land on for the retail environment? centralized single source of truth, or coexistence, or hybrid scale. So mostly we would, that I have observed so far is the centralized or the single source of truth. The reason behind the main agenda or having the master data management tools are to maintain the golden records for the organization, where multiple teams would be requesting this data, and there'll be a central repository for this. And this central repository will act like a hub where any e-commerce or the merchandise teams or marketing teams needs this record. The source from this centralized repository would be pulled up and sent it to the downstream, so that we do not have any discrepancies between the applications, and the data is unified across the organization. I think
Sure. I think that was the last question.
mhm.
Yes, that was the last one.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you very much, Sweta, for all those answers to the question, and thank you very much for being part of this session again. So this is a great pleasure for us to have you in this session, and for sharing all this knowledge and your experience in how to implement master data management solutions, how to ensure that the solution is correctly and properly implemented within the company, and what are the main considerations related to the change management, related to governance, the architecture too, and how to ensure that it can be efficient, scalable, and let's say a good fit for the company. Of course, I know that the time allocated to deal with this topic is not sufficient. So having 1 hour is not enough. We know that, but at least this is, let's say, an overview of what can be discussed about MDM and implementing MDM. Of course, the invitation is still open for you. So anytime, if you have any new topic, or if you want to share any any experience, or any information related to this topic, so you are welcome. You just can reach out, and of course we will be very happy and very grateful for you to arrange another session, and to welcome you again in Archie Fridays. Thank you very much.
Sure.
So if you have anything to say, any last words, comments?
Sure. Thank you so much for making this whole session a very friendly session. Though I have some technical difficulties with the video and other things, but yeah, thank you so much.
Yes, no problem for that. This is the platform, and we always have those type of technical issues. So that's why we make sure to check before we start the session. But as I told you, so as I explained, so the platform is designed in order to make the experience. We try to make it easy, and also this is really important. So at least we can broadcast the session on different platforms. Thank you very much, Sweta. Best of luck for you. Have a nice day, and also maybe see you in the upcoming sessions. So we are still here. So if you feel the need to contact or to connect, so that would be with great pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank
Have
you.
a nice day, nice
Okay,
weekend,
thank
and see you next time. Thank you. Thank you all of you for joining us for this session. Thank you very much. See you next week.